This next question comes from Wahoo Jordan LL. Hey guys, love the show. Been listening for a few years now. I miss Barton, but I'm glad to see Danny and was a fan of his before his appearance on the show. Parentheses, ACC guys, got to stick together. ACC boys. My question revolves what I perceive as a lack of respect for what Bronco Mendenhall has accomplished at UVA. He's gone from 2 to 6 to 8 to 9, then to 5. 9 wins at Virginia is huge. His recruiting classes have gotten better every year he's been at UVA. The media hypes teams with worse or the same records as UVA since Bronco's arrival. Tom Allen, Pat Narduzzi, and for some reason, Jeff Collins, just to bring up a few coaches who are always hyped up. He's owned UNC and no one ever mentions it. Why doesn't Bronco get the credit that some of these guys do? And where do you see him taking UVA from here on out? P.S. Tell Danny Warwick Dunn didn't cross the plane. Full circle, baby.
If we had replay, he would have scored. We would have went on. I would have won that Heisman Trophy even without Randy Moss, been a first-round pick, and I wouldn't be here with you guys, having to schlep around and pay bills to feed my daughters. He was definitely in. I'll ask him about it.
Would have carried that momentum. We wouldn't have lost to Florida.
Yes. Yeah. No way. No chance. Nobody already thought about Randy Moss. Nobody would have been bitter about that. No, I think he's right. I think he's right, though, on the lack of recognition, credit for Bronco Mendenhall and the job he's doing. I mean, this last year, again, I'll say it a zillion times, COVID, I give people a pass. I just 5-5. It is what it is. It's a weird year. I give it a pass. I think Bronco is a coach that could be at Virginia for a long time. And I think you would be thrilled to have him at Virginia for a long time. I think he fits. I think he knows how to work with the academic restrictions there. I think he's right. I don't think they get enough credit for the success that he's had there. And this, unfortunately, I think is where you have to overcome brand perception. And since he brought up the ACC boys comment there, like when Virginia goes 9-5 and they win the Coastal in 2019, it's, the ACC's down. When anybody represents whatever division in the SEC, whether it's Missouri, playing in the SEC East Championships. Oh, what a great year for Missouri. These guys are unbelievable. What a surprise upside season. It's the nature of college football. It's the way we dissect things. They've got to overcome that perception. And I think in order to do so, you have to have like a signature season where you actually win the ACC, a 10-win season, give me some big win, and it'll still take a while to turn that perception around. It's just things are ingrained in college football minds that run really deep.
I'm a Bronco stan. I've been a Bronco stan. I'm my beloved Hoos. I've talked about Virginia for the last few years since they hired Bronco. When they hired him, I hailed it as a great hire to get him out of BYU and to come to a Power 5 because I felt like Virginia, or a school like Virginia, was a perfect fit for Bronco Mendenhall and what he's able to do. I loved his teams at BYU. I love his teams at Virginia. I mean, I'm sorry if I don't say it every episode.
Well, all right. So is it a basketball school thing?
Probably. I think that there's a natural reaction for fans of football teams at basketball schools to always feel like their football teams are disrespected, particularly when their football teams actually start doing well.
Because Virginia is the last program to win a national championship in basketball. So they are still the reigning champions. So I could see why there's some of that might also be within the community, right? That you're always, when you're fired up about that November tip-off classic, while the rest of the college sports world is all dialed in on these conference championship races, there is some cognitive dissonance that happens there, even within the national discussion. I like Bronco. We talked about him here on the podcast as being somebody that just has done a great job of identifying the kind of player. I mean, I'm sorry for being so cliche, but it just rolls off the tongue. The OKGs, our kinds of guys, the people who fit the profile at the University of Virginia, where you don't even have to go out of your way to get people into a school that might have a little bit tougher academic restrictions. You are using that as a way to pitch to some players to get them to come, because you're able to sell them that, and you're able to get the kind of players that want to come and develop and want to be in the program for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And I think that, I don't know, man, they play solid football. So number one was the basketball. Number two was within Bronco ball, which I have at times called Bronco bully ball. Is there a little bit of a lack of flash? Because Olamide Zaccheaus was fantastic. He was a good special teams threat a couple years ago, was really exciting. But I do think that sometimes it's just not going to be up there in the they're not going to be putting quarterbacks, and they're not going to be putting skill position players near the top of conference or national stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
That might be another part that's like coinciding with this, as we all get crazy about touchdowns and yards and stuff like that.
Yeah, they play the complementary football.